Hey everybody, welcome to this video guide for Batman Arkham Knight on the Xbox Series X. Today we are going to be completing the Crime Alley AR challenge and getting 3 stars on it while playing as Batman. Now before we actually get into the AR challenge itself, this footage and the commentary I'll be providing later on in the video is actually pulled directly from my Chill in the Air achievement guide. So I just released an achievement guide for the Chill in the Air. It is an achievement where you need to complete this level while playing as Batman, Robin, and Nightwing, and you need to do so without being hit at all. And that also is going to result in you getting 3 stars most likely, as long as you maintain sort of a free flow and you don't lose your combo at all. So I'd highly recommend that you check out that video if you are planning on doing this with all 3 characters. But otherwise, if you're just interested in getting 3 stars for this level while playing as Batman, then this video will more than suffice. I'll leave a link to that video at the top right, and I will also be leaving a link for the videos for every other character for the Crime Alley AR challenge. So if you're looking to go through all 8 characters, I have a video for each of them. So check the description for all of those links. Now let's get started on some general combat tips when it comes to these AR challenges. So let's talk about some tips for making sure you don't take any damage when you are completing these levels. Personally, I'd recommend that you go with the method of hitting, dodging, and hitting. So you want to get in a rhythm of hitting, evading, so you can jump over an enemy, just jump away, etc., and then hitting once again. This allows you to sort of avoid needing to counter, avoid incoming blade attacks, or any other attack that cannot be blocked or countered. So that way you're not taking unnecessary damage because you're not personally prepared to counter, press Y or whatever to try to avoid that damage. Evading is what I personally like to do, and if you do this and also consider what the enemies are armed with, so that would be a shield or a taser, things like that, you'll have a better idea of how to react in certain situations. If you ensure that you are always dodging, you can reorient yourself and prepare yourself for the next attack you will need to perform, whether that be an attack to take down a shield enemy, a beatdown on a brute, a regular attack, or even preparing yourself for a counter. Giving yourself that extra time when evading will benefit you greatly between each attack, and allow you to avoid damage extremely easily as well. So remember, you want to get into a rhythm of hitting, dodging, and then hitting once again, and just keep that up. That is going to benefit you greatly. Of course, there are circumstances where you need to perform a special attack, like using the back claw to sort of disable the electricity surrounding an enemy, but those are exceptions to the rule and to the rhythm of hitting, dodging, and hitting. Now that we have got all of those tips out of the way, let's get started with this AR challenge. Alright, so let's get started with the very first level for Batman. First off, we are going to be pausing so we can take a look at all the enemies. In this first wave, we have 2 bladed enemies. One of them is the ninja, and then we have a riot shield enemy. These are really the only notable enemies, of course, but for me, I'd recommend you take out the knife enemy. I do it with a really easy knife counter where you are dodging all those attacks in a pattern of 3, and then you get that full knockout on them once you conclude that combo. And then for me, I go for the enemy with the riot shield because once you take them down, then it is pretty easy to just get a chain of free flow going and you're not interrupted by a shield. All you need to do after that is really make sure nobody picks up the shield, and you can just keep going through this round. It will be very easy. Now let's go ahead and continue on with the round itself. I'm going to be showing prompts on the screen so that way you know the movements that I am taking. I'm just going to be showing the button prompts for dodging and evading. That is all I am going to be doing for this round specifically, and the rest of the rounds are just going to be rounds like normal. No prompts on the screen because that's too much work, of course, but also, you should know by now how to evade and how to attack. Here it is just indicating the rhythm that I take for this round specifically. Alright, let's go ahead and continue on. Okay, so like I said, I go for the knife enemy right away. I get that counter on him. Then I stun the enemy with the shield, make sure he's down, he has no shield. Then I just proceed with hitting all of the enemies in the area. Right here, I only need to evade a few times since there aren't many enemies, and then I just go for the final counter to finish them off. Like I said, the first level is the easiest and it should not give you any trouble. Alright, now let's take a look at the final score screen at the end of this round. As long as you made sure you check for the no hit bonus at the end of each round, that is how you know you're on track, and if you get no hit bonuses on every single round, you'll get, I think, is it Perfect Night, or I don't remember what the final bonus is, but you'll get a final bonus for not getting hit at all throughout all of them, and that's how you know you will be on track for this achievement. So let's continue on with round 2. Alright, so starting up round 2, we are going to have to deal with a brute. We've got the enemy with the taser, and then we have the shield enemy. So personally, I'd recommend that you target the brute immediately, so that way you can get a beatdown on him and get him taken care of, so that way the brute is no longer an issue. Then I'd recommend you watch out for the taser enemy, and once you have a combo available, I'd say that you should use the dismantle special move, so that way there are no longer any tasers in play and it is just broken and no other enemies can use it. Then you can focus on the shield enemy. You can also dismantle the shield, but personally I find it to just be good to leave it on the ground. But regardless, as long as you take out the brute and you take out the taser, the major threats have been taken care of, and it is then just a matter of evading and hitting, especially if you have the shield on the floor or dismantled. It really will be just evading and hitting, and it will be a very easy round after those two threats are taken care of. So let's proceed with the level. What I like to do immediately is stun the brute, so that way I can get a beatdown in and get some easy hits, get a combo built up. Then I like to use my special attack on the brute, so that way I do easy damage. Then from there it is just a matter of building up my combo once again, so that way I can take down the brute with my final special attack. And this entire time I am going to be watching for the shield enemy and the taser enemy, because they can interrupt my combo and easily damage me. So now the taser is out of play, it is currently on the ground, and the shield has been picked up once again, so I'm going to knock that person out. Then just continue on watching the taser on the floor. You can see it just got picked up once again, and I'm going to continue fighting, just making sure I evade over this enemy with the taser and they do not damage me by me attacking them from the front side. So once the enemies are taken care of, that is round 2 completed, and just make sure every time you complete a round, you are checking that final score screen to make sure that it says you had taken no hits. Alright, so now taking a look at the screen, it says we took no hits, so let's continue on to round number 3. When we start up round 3, we can see that there is a brute, there is a medic, and then there is an enemy with a gun. You want to make sure that you dismantle the gun as soon as possible, because they can damage you from afar if you are not quick enough to attack them. It always prompts you when they do attack with a gun, so they're easy to counter and easy to catch. But personally, I'd recommend you just get it out of play and dismantle it with the special attack. So you need to build up a combo for that. And then, of course, you want to make sure you attack the brute here. But this brute actually does have some special weapons, so sometimes it is not safe to attack them. So for me, in this round, I don't go for the beatdown immediately. What I do is I build up my combo on all of the other enemies, and then with that combo I then use that special attack on the brute, and then the brute is just taken out very easily for me with 2 special attacks, and then I can move on. And then finally we have the medic. You need to watch out for the medic, because you do not want the medic to be reviving his teammates. If he is reviving his teammates, then you're just gonna have more enemies to deal with, and that is just more of a chance for you to get damaged, right? Plus, the medic does actually have the ability to electrify his teammates, so you want to make sure that you avoid that at all costs. You can of course use the bat claw to disable that electricity and then attack those enemies, but you just want to do your best to avoid that happening at all, so it would be best for you to take out the medic ASAP. So for me, I'd recommend that you get the gun out of play, then you go for the brute, and then finally you go for the medic. The order is up to you, but that's my personal recommendation. Now let's get started with the round itself. Alright, so first off, I'm avoiding that brute, then I'm taking out the shield enemy, then getting the gun out of that grunt's hands. Then I'm doing my best to build up my combo, and you can see I have this electrified enemy here, so I'm using the bat claw to disable that electricity. Now I have my combo built up a tiny bit. I'm going to first use that combo on the brute here, then I'm going to disable electricity again on that enemy and continue to try and build up that combo meter. I took care of that gun there. I'm focusing on the medic here. I build up my combo a little bit, and then I use the second combo on the brute to take him out. Now the brute's taken out, and the main threat is going to be the medic, because they can electrify the enemies, and of course the gun. So I'm taking out the medic before they can do too much more support for the enemies, and just building up my combo more and more. You can see I got that gun out of the enemy's hands right away once they were firing, and I took out that medic ASAP. Now I'm continuing on. You can see they picked up the gun once again. They really do not chill with that gun. but I'm keeping an eye on it and doing my best. I could have dismantled it, but I didn't need to. I could have just kept my combo up and it was all good, right? So that is round 3 completed. It was a bit of a quick one, so definitely pause and play the video wherever you may need assistance. But you can see that we did get the no hit bonus, so we can continue on without worrying about missing out on the achievement. So let's start up round 4, and in this round we are going to be worried about a few more enemies than the previous rounds, but the principles will still remain the same. You can see that there are 2 brutes, there are 2 medics, and there are 2 guns. There is of course the shield enemy, but that isn't as important as the brutes and the guns are going to be. Of course the medics are very important as well, but personally I'd recommend you pay attention to the brutes and the guns. So as usual, make sure that you build up your combo so that way you can use some special attacks to take out the brutes very easily. It takes 2 special attacks per brute, so you need 4 special attacks total, so that way you can take them out without even needing to perform a beatdown. And then after you've done that, you are of course this entire time going to be making sure that the guns are not going to be able to be fired at you, so you can dismantle them with the relative special attack, or you can just make sure that you keep knocking them out of the enemy's hands. And this entire time you want to make sure that you are avoiding any of the electrified enemies that the medics have created, and you want to make sure you are focusing on the medics as best as you can. Just regular hits on them will knock them out after long enough, but it is really annoying when the medic revives another medic, because then it's just another thing to worry about with the medics. So you want to make sure that if you knock out one medic, they don't revive the other medic, because that can be really annoying and they can create a ton of electrified enemies if you're not paying attention. So disable any electrified enemies with the backclaw ASAP, and just do your best to clear out the enemies as efficiently as possible in the order of the brutes, then clearing out the guns from the area, just making sure they're not in play, and then finally the medics, and then proceed with the rest of the enemies. So let's get started with this round. So we are going to make sure that we disabled any electrified enemies, of course. That was an easy one to start off with. Then we are just going to make our way around all of these enemies that are safe to attack, build up our combo, use that special attack on the brute. You see the gun, it just popped up. We made sure that they were knocked down and they couldn't fire at us. Then we are just continuing to attack and evade, and build up our combo. Now that we've got a special attack, we can use another one on a brute, and that way that brute has been taken out. Then we are going to disable that electrified enemy, and then there is another electrified enemy in play that we need to be worried about, so we want to make sure we don't attack him or attack anybody near him. And then now we are going to disable him really quickly and then use the special attack on this brute. Now we only need one more special attack to be used on the brute, and we can continue to focus on building up our combo meter. So now that the combo meter is back up, we can go ahead and use the final special attack for the brute takedown. Then all we need to worry about are the guns and the medics. And so we are just going to make sure that we are constantly attacking the enemies, watching out for any electrified enemies. But if we're quick enough, we can make sure that they can't electrify anyone. Unfortunately, I wasn't quick enough. But now that I do have a special attack available, I'm able to take out that medic really easily. Then I am taking out the enemy with the shield, then disabling this other electrified enemy, then finally continuing on with the rest of the enemies, making sure the guns cannot fire at me. And I am focusing on this medic here, making sure they cannot revive anybody. Since they are the last medic, they're really easy to control and make sure they don't get their revives in. But if I'm not quick enough, just that one extra enemy gets picked up like it was here. Pretty annoying, but not anything crazy. And then finally, we have defeated the last enemy. Really, once you take care of those difficult enemies, the rest just fall into place and it gets very, very easy. Alright, and that is the end of this video guide. Please do remember that all of the footage and all of the commentary that I had during this whole challenge was used in the previous video for the achievement that required you to not get hit. So I did emphasize on dodging any damage. However, I would say that that is very, very important for getting a really high score early on in your levels. So it's not too difficult to carry over those lessons from that achievement into the gameplay and aiming for 3 stars. So I hope this video was able to help. Please do drop a comment and let me know if I didn't. And please do drop a comment if you want me to do a video on any other specific Batman levels. I'm down for any levels. I usually say this at the end of all of my videos. I'm down for any of the levels other than the Batmobile levels. I am down to do any Predator or combat challenges. I just love the game, so definitely drop a comment if you are struggling with anything specific, and I'll try to get to it as soon as possible. Alright, anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Please stick around and subscribe to my channel for more content like this one. Please drop a like if I was able to help you out, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.